Get the
Is it
IRB
okay
approval.
if I get your approval to film you
Yes,
for
I'm
this?
Dr. Doug Duncan. I'm
um,
happy to be
okay.
filmed and recorded.
What are your professional responsibilities these days as a scientist? What do you do here at CU in general? And
Okay. So I have kind of a unique job in the Astrophysical and Planetary Sciences Department. I am the faculty member designated for running Fisk Planetarium. That means I have a larger fraction of my job, what's called service. So I teach one course each fall and each spring. I manage Fisk Planetarium the year round, and I do research in the time that's left over.
what is your current research?
So my original research, I've had three phases in my research career. The original one was part of a group that found sunspot cycles on other stars. Like every 11 years, the sun gets very active. We're in solar maximum or solar max right now. The sun has a lot of eruptions, hit the Earth. We worry about satellites. We see nice northern lights. I found cycles like that on other stars. Then I went on to the staff of the Hubble Space Telescope, and I started researching the oldest stars. You might call them fossil stars that date back to the birth of the Milky Way. And by studying what elements are in those stars, it helps tell the story of how the galaxy formed, how the elements were created, stuff like that. But when I came to CU in 2002, the physics department was just starting this incredible effort to understand how people do or don't learn science. And so I thought that was so exciting that I switched my research. In fact, it was so exciting that Carl Wyman, after winning the Nobel Prize, completely stopped his Nobel Prize winning research and devoted himself 100% to this science education research. A lot of people think of education being over in the ed school, but that's mostly K through 12. You know, who should study what are effective ways to teach chemistry? Who should study what are effective ways to teach quantum mechanics? You know, it's not sensible for that to be in the ed school where people don't know quantum mechanics, most of them. So do science departments take responsibility for doing research on themselves? Relatively few universities research themselves and really improve. And in the last 10 years, the improvement in the physics department here has been phenomenal. And no physics department at any university has ever improved their teaching as much as Colorado in the last 10 years. So for instance, the most interesting research that I'm doing right now has to do with whether it matters if you use a laptop or paper or your cell phone in class. Okay? Can you do two things at once? You know, can you do a little texting during this interview here? We now have data from 400 students, and the answer is very clear. And let's see, the paper hasn't been published yet. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. I guess I am, because I expect there'll be probably a CU press release. And the answer is yes, 0.4 of a GPA. That is to say, if you go into a large CU science class and you just simply track the people that text during class and the people who don't, who never turn their phone on during class, there's an offset in grades of almost 0.4 of a GPA.
Wow.
You know, that's the difference between getting into medical school or not, getting the job that you want or not. People think they can multitask, and our research says they can't.